This is Katajjaq, an Inuit throat singing game. Two Inuit women are standing opposite each other, face to face. Rocking softly from side to side, they produce these playful sounds with their voices. I'm Sara Valentina Rohr, a PhD student in cultural anthropology of music. And today, I'm going to introduce you to the Inuit throat singing style Katajjaq. We'll discuss if it is really just a game. We'll learn how it has almost disappeared in Canada due to colonialism, and how it came back to life and is now becoming a beloved singing style among young Inuit throat singers. Some artists are even starting to create their own special version of Inuit throat singing. You just heard The Little Puppy, a perfect example to explore how Katajjaq works. Katajjaq starts with two people facing each other. Sometimes they also hold each other on the arms. Traditionally, only women have been performing Katajjaq, but in recent years, men also started to practice it. The leader begins to sing a sound motif. Then, the second woman imitates that motif. As you can hear, the two sound motifs are really just a split second apart. And if you can't keep the two voices apart, then that's a sign that the singers are really good. The game ends when one of the two starts laughing, runs out of breath, or falls out of rhythm. Now that we know how Katajjaq works, you might still ask what this game is actually about. Let's listen to Inuit throat singers Nina Segalowitz and Lydia Etok from Montreal.
Inuit throat singing represents the nature that surrounds us. The sounds we make imitate nature, animals, river, the wind.
This tradition has been going on for thousands of years, and it's done mainly by using three elements: our diaphragm, our throat, and our notes. This is our pastime, and so it's a real way as well to reconnect friends and sisters and family.
Nina and Lydia show that Katajjaq is not only about winning a vocal game. The practice also connects the singers to their daily natural surroundings and sounds. For Inuit, traditionally, this is the Arctic environment. And what could that be? It's a river! Katajjaq is more than just a game. Inuit throat singing is also used to put babies to sleep. Inuit women usually carry their babies on their backs in their traditional parka called a mautik. There, the babies can really feel the vibrations coming from the deep guttural sounds produced by their mothers. This has a soothing effect. Traditionally, Katajjaq was also a method to focus on breathing and to keep the body warm during cold weather. The question of whether Katajjaq was linked to shamanistic practice remains unanswered today. Only very few elders talk about throat singing as a way to influence animals and the environment to guarantee a successful hunt. Evie Mark is one of the people who knows about this lost shamanistic practice. She is a professional Inuit throat singer, seamstress and filmmaker living in Montreal. There she teaches Inuit students about Inuit arts and the Inuit language Inuktitut. Evie Mark on Katajjaq and shamanism.
There's so much yet that we need to revitalize, that we need to take back. So much. Imagine they were able to communicate to the nature, and we've lost that ability to communicate. They had the ability to communicate with animals, and we've lost that ability. So I think that we really need to reconnect to the roots of the land.
Evie Mark stresses here again the deep relationship that Inuit traditionally have with the Arctic nature and the animals that live there. As we learned before, this connection to the land is also an important part of Katajjaq. Evie Mark and her friend Sara Balloon performed the song we just heard. It is called The Snow Geese and matches the origin story of Katajjaq. According to Inuit legend, the first throat singers were small birds with human-like features. Inuit invented Katajjaq by observing these birds and picking up the guttural sounds they made over time. There was a time when Katajjaq almost disappeared. At the beginning of the 20th century, Christian missionaries arrived in Inuit communities in Arctic Canada, and they started to ban Katajjaq because they thought it came from the devil. Inuit throat singer Evie Mark.
The missionaries saw it as exotic or erotic. If you're having too much fun, then that means it's not good, because you have to be disciplined. It was abolished, shamed, and so on. Belittled. People were disgusted by it.
For Evie Mark, the disappearance of Katajjaq was clearly linked to the missionaries' efforts under colonial rule. In the 1960s, Inuit priests started to encourage their communities to perform Katajjaq again. They were afraid that Inuit throat singing would vanish, and they wanted to preserve Katajjaq. And with the support of their priests, Inuit elders started to teach the traditional Katajjaq songs to younger generations again. For young Inuit, learning Inuit throat singing was not only a way to connect with their community members and family, but also to their cultural heritage and Inuit identity. In recent years, young Inuit artists started to push the boundaries of Katajjaq. They experiment by mixing it with other music styles, creating, for example, throat boxing. And some artists work with new electronic gear. For example, they start with a traditional Katajjaq song and then layer several sounds on top of each other by using a loop machine. The Inuit throat singing game Katajjaq is currently becoming more and more present around the world. Inuit throat singers increasingly and proudly perform it to audiences outside their Arctic communities. For them, Katajjaq is not only a fun game, but also a way to express their cultural identity and to reclaim a culture they almost lost due to colonialism. From a traditional throat singing game to new sound experiments, Katajjaq and Inuit throat singing are alive and thriving today.